Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode, and of course today I'm talking about Power Rangers. Now I know I've been on a bit of a month hiatus. I really haven't done any videos whatsoever since I moved, but I'm really trying to get back into it. I'm trying to focus, and right now I'm in a big Power Rangers phase, getting ready for Power Rangers, which comes out later this month. So I'm going to be discussing a lot of Power Ranger stuff over the next few videos, starting with this one, which I'm going to be discussing the Max Landis script that came out about a month ago. It was leaked online. If you don't know, Max Landis is actually a producer, screenwriter. I think he's directing now. He's doing all kinds of projects. He even does comic book like art and writing, which is super cool. He does all kinds of geek stuff, which is really awesome. But he wrote a script for the Power Rangers movie. Unfortunately, it was not the one that got chosen for the final film that will be coming out later this month. But it got leaked out online, and of course, being the Power Rangers fan that I am, I had to just read it. It's only like 127 pages, but I definitely had to check it out. So let's first start off with some positives. One of the biggest positives in my mind was the amount of love that Max Landis put into this script. He loves the Power Rangers, he loved the original show, and that really shows through this script. You can tell he loves superheroes because he's obviously writing comic books and things like that, as well as his work on Chronicle. I believe he wrote and produced it, if I'm not wrong. But he loves the superhero genre, and Power Rangers are essentially superheroes, especially in this newer version, at least the final version that we're seeing where they sort of have superpowers. So he's in love with that superpowered sort of team genre type of thing. And that's exactly what the Power Rangers are. And you really see a lot of his love in this script. He has all kinds of throwbacks to various moments in the show, which I thought was super awesome. There's little tidbits scattered throughout, little details, things that Bulk and Skull may do, something Billy may say that's like affirmative, or something that really shows the characters of, it shows an homage to that original show that people have come to know and love and are so angry about the reboot not being the same exact thing. He really put that love into that script. His version also would have been different, but I think it would have paid that certain homage that a lot of fans desperately want to see, and the nostalgia really brings it out in them. So he definitely has a lot of those moments scattered throughout the entire script. I don't really want to nail down one moment because there's so many of them, but I feel like he really captured the tone of what the original show was, and that's one of the greatest benefits that the entire script had as a whole. It felt like the old show. However, I will say that as much of a fan that Max Landis is to the original show, there were some changes through the script, and some of them may not necessarily have been the best choices, at least in my mind, but some people probably would have appreciated some of the minor changes. Let's go through those really quick. One of the biggest changes that Max Landis made to the entire Power Rangers sort of dynamic script, what's going to be happening, was that he actually, what I'm going to be calling the Ranger swap. Now, what I mean by that is Zach and Kim actually switched sort of power coins. No, they didn't switch, but switched from what we know them originally. So Kim had the Black Ranger and Zach had the Pink Ranger. It was a little bit weird. I have no problem with the switching. I just feel like it would have made more sense for Zach and Trini to switch black with yellow than to do black with pink. But that was just a personal preference of mine. I had no problem with them switching. It was just a little bit out of place, I guess, that it was Kim and Zach switching versus maybe instead of maybe Zach and Trini. I felt like that would have made a little bit more sense, especially considering how they're sort of portrayed, I guess, on the newer version. Sort of Trini seems a little bit more of like the badass character, more than maybe Zach would have been versus Kim. But I feel like that's just something minor that I feel like it would have been interesting for sure to see on the big screen. I just also feel like it would have been too much of a departure from the original that just wouldn't have made any sense for people to watch, and would have really brought the overall level of the movie down a notch. However, Landis did have a great inclusion, and that was with the villains. He not only incorporated the villains in such a great way, but he included everyone. Everyone from the original series was in this script. Rita, Zed makes an appearance towards the end, Goldar, Babu, Scorpina, everyone makes an appearance or reference or whatever. Squat, the little Dr. Finster, Mr. Finster, whatever you want to call him, was in there. Every single person had a role, and it felt like the original show because they were just villains standing around talking about how they could beat the Power Rangers. And that's what the original show did. Everyone was there, and it just felt authentic. And even the way the putties were described, it just felt like they felt like they were a little bit more like a clay monster versus like a putty, like a more physical being, like the rock sort of monsters we're going to see in the new version. But I felt like they were actually made sense, like his adaptation, his interpretation of these villains and the putties made sense in a modern day. And that's something that I felt like Max Landis excelled at with his script, more than maybe what we'll be seeing in the later version. But obviously I haven't seen this version that's coming out yet, so it's all speculation at this point. Now on the other side of that coin, or the power coin if you will, refers to Zordon. Now the good guys in this film, not necessarily the Power Rangers because I didn't really see any suit stuff, like you have to use your imagination a lot, but Zordon and Alpha just weren't doing it for me. The way that Zordon is sort of described is he's sort of like this squid monster sort of thing when he's outside of his cryo tube, where you see like the big head that's known from the classic show, or even like the panel wall that Bryan Cranston's Zordon's going to do. But it just felt so weird. Like Zordon's a squid, like he's not even like a guy or like a ghost thing. It just felt completely off to me. I did not like that whatsoever, and it just didn't feel like the type of characters that Power Rangers would be accustomed to. I understand they're supposed to be from another world, but I feel like Zordon would have been something a little bit more physical as like a being versus like a squid monster that when you put him in a cryo tube, he was a big head. However, Alpha did seem pretty good, which I have to give him that. I was concerned about this Alpha, but I'm slowly becoming accustomed to it and a little bit more open to how this new Alpha is going to be in the new series. Now, as for the Rangers themselves, I felt like, again, I didn't see any suits or like concepts. It's all description, so you have to use your imagination. The Rangers themselves felt very authentic. I liked the way that Max Landis sort of put them, their relationships sort of interweaved, that they had known each other all throughout their lives essentially, but they had grown apart. As you do with friends, as you grow up, you sort of grow apart, have your own interests, things you branch off to. And I felt like he really captured that sort of teenage, not necessarily angst, but like that teenage experience that all of them went through. All of them went through heartbreaks here and there, have relationship issues, or have little things that they're dealing with. However, on the flip side of that, there were certain things that I didn't like about that. For instance, in Max Landis' script, Jason and Trini actually have a past like relationship, and they're working on. It's referenced every once in a while. Then there's a thing towards the end that again brings it up some more. I just wasn't a fan of that necessarily. I'm not necessarily a fan of the Jason and Kim relationship that looks like that's going to be in this new movie, but that may lead to a love triangle later if Tommy's introduced in a sequel. That makes a little bit more sense, but with Trini, it just didn't really feel right. And at the same time, Billy and Kim have a thing. I don't really know what's going on. Zach is off on his own thing, having a relationship with Angela. Again, another character from the original, which was a great touch. But it just felt a little bit forced as far as the Rangers having relationships in the past with each other. It just felt very rushed in that sense, and that was something I didn't necessarily feel was a part of what would be the Ranger lore. But one thing that I do have to keep in mind is that this was Max Landis' version. It is not the version that actually gets put on the big screen in the next few weeks. So you really have to take what this is with a grain of salt. It was someone else's idea, someone else's concept. Of course, it had some new things that maybe you're not used to from the original series, as the reboot will, but it was his vision, and I think it was something that was really cool. He put a lot of dedication into it, a lot of fan service, so much fan service. I feel like he was a literal fan making almost a fan fiction in a way on their origin, because that's how detailed a lot of these scenes and interactions were, including references, locations, things people would say, etc. So I feel like Max Landis put a lot of love into this script. In a way, I'm glad that I read the script, but it's not going to be the movie version. That's going to be different. However, there could be some parallels between what I read and what is actually going to be put on the big screen in the next few weeks. That remains to be seen. We will find that out. But I really am hoping that this new version is going to be mind-blowing. Maybe not necessarily mind-blowing. I'm just hoping for a good Power Rangers reboot. I feel like it's going to be something that's exciting. I know a lot of people that are unfortunately not excited about it, that think it's going to be pretty terrible, but I have my hopes up, and I'm not going to let anybody knock it down. I've been a Ranger fan since I was probably around 3 years old, so this means a lot to me in a way. It's part of who I am, so I cannot wait for this new movie. Nothing can bring my spirits down at this point. I'm full Ranger mode, and I can't wait for more. So actually, I'm going to be doing some more videos here pretty soon, in which I'm actually going to be reviewing these movies here. I don't know if you can see them. They are Power Rangers, the original movie, and Power Rangers Turbo. I'm actually going to be talking about those just before the Power Rangers movie comes out. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it the week up to or sort of more spread out. I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely going to be talking about those for sure. So be sure to be on the lookout for those coming up pretty soon. And also, welcome back to my channel if you haven't been waiting for more videos. If you're new here or just interested in Power Ranger stuff, welcome also. So I'm really looking forward to doing more videos now that I'm back a little bit more settled, trying to get a little bit more on track here. Have a lot of Power Ranger stuff to talk about, a lot more nerd stuff to talk about too. And I'm really excited. I can't wait to get back into it. I've kind of missed doing videos. So be sure to leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on Power Rangers. If you're interested, not interested. Obviously I'm interested, and I'm going to talk about it, but I can't wait for this new movie. Let me know what your thoughts are on the new movie. I'm also going to leave a link down in the description to the Max Landis script. You can read that if you feel like it. So you can sort of go down in the comment section again and discuss what you think are the positive changes, negative changes, anything like that. Be sure to do all of that stuff, as well as hit that subscribe button down below, because like I said, I'm going to have a lot of Power Ranger stuff coming up. So be sure you're on track for that so you can be notified when I make a new video. Guys, thank you so much. You really are the best. Thank you for coming back if you're coming back. Thank you for being here if you just watched this video for kicks and giggles. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one.